After what happens at Aretuza, everybody that was battling there kind of goes their separate ways. They need to regroup, but they're also all still searching for Siri. And word has gotten out that Siri is headed to Nilfgaard. The White Flame has her. One of the people that's most upset is King Vizimir. It's not like Vizimir really cares about getting Siri, but what he does care about is the optics. He sent Dijkstra and Philippa to do a job, and they just didn't. He was supposed to purge the Brotherhoods, but there are no brothers left. Aretuza's in rocks, and he hasn't heard from Radovid yet, so he feels like he's dead. He wants to make an example of somebody, and that somebody is going to be Philippa, and he wants Dijkstra to do it. Radovid, however, comes back later that night. King Vizimir is thrilled to see him. He's very relieved. He wants to get him settled and get a bath, but Radovid says, I'm not staying. I've found someone that needs me, and right now he needs my help, so I'm leaving. King Vizimir reluctantly agrees, and Radovid goes off to get ready to leave. But not too far down the hall, you've got Dijkstra, drunk, pacing back and forth about what the king has ordered him. He can't bring himself to do it. He goes to Philippa's room, and he explains that in the end, even though they think Vizimir is an idiot, he is their king and they failed him, and sacrifices need to be made because of it. But he points the blade at him, and he tells Philippa, do it. Do it, and tell Vizimir that it was all my fault. But Philippa doesn't do it. She puts the knife away and tells Dijkstra, I knew I could trust you with my life, but I could never trust you with my plan. And that plan was to eliminate Vizimir. She has that girl that she hooked up with in the castle cut Vizimir's throat. They then usher in the King Radovid era. So for the moment, Radovid is not going anywhere. And right under Radovid's nose in his own kingdom, Yennefer, Tissaia, and a couple of the other mages. Because they're frantically looking for Siri. They're trying to figure out where Vilgefortz hid her, and they go to that Redanian castle, the one that Vilgefortz was using as an experiment room. They don't find Siri, but they do find the remnants of his experiments. By looking at the experiments, though, they realize just who they're dealing with and how powerful Vilgefortz truly is. Upon leaving the castle, Tissaia especially feels like an idiot. Ever since she realized she was betrayed by Vilgefortz, she's felt really bad, but it seems like lately she's just been constantly reminded about how dumb the move was, about how she shouldn't have trusted him the entire time. They're all about to go their separate ways. For some, back to Aretuza. For others, back looking for Siri. But Marigold stops everyone and says, we can't leave these girls. We have to give them a proper burial. Initially, there's a little bit of pushback, but Yennefer says, no, Marigold's right. We have to do right by these girls. So they walk back in the castle, and they get ready to do a ceremonial burial for them. Right before she joins the other girls, Yennefer goes to check on Tissaia, because she knows that she's not right now. Tissaia is really beating herself up about all the lives that were lost. Yennefer, being a good friend, tells her none of it would have mattered. The war was inevitable, and deep down, Tissaia is a good person because she didn't hand Ciri over. Yennefer is forced to give Tissaia a little bit of a pep talk, remind Tissaia who the hell she is, and how valuable she is, and how much they need her. It is appreciated. Tissaia gives her a hug, but in the end, it doesn't work. When Yennefer goes down and joins Marigold and a few of the other mages for the ceremonial burial, Tissaia pens Yennefer a goodbye note and then kills herself. Yennefer realizes it's happening when flowers fall from the sky and she puts two and two together. The note is really heartfelt, and she refers to Yennefer as her daughter. It's pretty clear that there was a love between the two. After the dust kind of settles and she collects herself, Yennefer knows that in order to get Ciri back, she's going to need Geralt's help. She heads to Brooklyn, where Geralt is still on the mend. Ethne has put one of her most trusted soldiers, named Melva, in charge of kind of healing Geralt back. Melva doesn't really want to do it, but she is following orders. Ethne reminds Melva that at one point she was Geralt. Milva's issue is Geralt isn't listening. He's not healthy enough, and he's trying to leave early. Because Geralt knows the severity of the situation. He knows that every moment that he isn't searching for Ciri, she's in danger. But the fact is, Geralt isn't healthy. The healing waters that they've been using, the tactics, it's not working. Geralt will try to get up and train for a little bit, and Melva has to bring him back down to earth and say, dude, you're useless right now. Neither you or this bard are any good to that girl dead, and right now, with the way you're carrying yourself, you would get killed pretty quickly. What you need is rest. You need to recuperate. So when Yennefer finally reaches Geralt, he's still that way. He still wants to get up, but he's still not healthy enough to do so. The first thing Yennefer does is apologize because she doesn't have Ciri with her. And Geralt apologizes for allowing Vilgefortz to get the best of him. Yennefer then tells Geralt about Tissaia passing away. Yennefer's really concerned because she doesn't know who's going to lead them. And Geralt says, "You are." He then tells Yen, "I need you to heal me. The Dryads, they did what they could, but I need to be healthy so I can make Emhyr pay and I can make Vilgefortz pay. And I can get our girl back." Kind of emotional for Yennefer because she feels like if she does this and she sends him on his way, it'll be the last time she sees him. So she says, "Promise me that this won't be the last time because I need you." And Geralt says, "I need you too, Yen." Yennefer then starts using her magic to heal Geralt, and it works. In the morning, Yennefer heads back to go meet with Marigold and a couple of other mages and rally the troops a little bit. The Brotherhood might be gone, but in its place seems to be the Sisterhood, led by Yennefer. And she tells all of them that they need to eliminate Vilgefortz. And Vilgefortz has gone off to stand side by side with the White Flame. But so has Frangela and Francesca. Now, their motives are a little bit different, but they do approach the White Flame with an offer. They tell him that while it looks like he's won, there's still work to be done. They need to secure Temeria's most critical supply chain. If they lose that, they're going to lose this entire war. What he needs is someone who knows Cintra inside and out. Actually, what he needs is two people that know Cintra inside and out. She's talking about herself and Francesca. This will be a win-win because Frangela will serve the White Flame while also giving Francesca's people safe haven. The White Flame accepts the offer, but Francesca makes a critical mistake. She mentions how the Scoia'tael deserves peace, and he says, "Oh, no, I need them. You can lead the elves into Cintra. I mean, the old ones, the sick ones, the ones who can't fight. But the Scoia'tael, they're going to have to stay with us." This really pisses Francesca off, who tells the White Flame, "They're not going to do that, not as long as they serve me." And he shoots back, "Then disavow them. Either they die fighting for us so the rest of your people may live, or all your people die." While initially Francesca was pissed off, the more she had time to think about it, the more she thought that the White Flame was right. The entire proposal from Frangela was all a plan to grab Ciri, hand her over to Francesca, and now she's got her. But when Frangela meets up with Francesca later in the day and explains how this plan will be great for them and it'll work out, Francesca cuts her off and says, "No, sacrificed too much already. I'm going to accept the White Flame's offer." Frangela is shocked by this, but she also doesn't want to serve the White Flame. She wants out. She tries to remind Francesca that Ciri can give her Dol Plathana, but Francesca says, "No, it's not out there. It used to be, but we lost it. Home is where my people are safe, and they'll be safe in Cintra. My people certainly won't be safe in an unknown sphere with a girl with unknown powers. Especially when I know that we're going to be under Nilfgaard's protection." They continue to go back and forth on this, arguing until finally Frangela reveals that it was actually the White Flame who had Francesca's baby killed. At this revelation, Francesca is very hurt, but it's hard to see who she's more mad at. The White Flame for doing it, or Frangela for knowing about it and just now revealing it. Frangela tries to deflect, putting all the blame on the White Flame, but Francesca just looks at her and says, "Emhyr does not know the meaning of suffering, but he will, and so will you." They then seem to head off to bed because the next day is going to be when Ciri finally arrives back in Nilfgaard. That means Geralt doesn't have a lot of time. After Yennefer did her spell, Geralt felt a lot better. It seemed to work. He started training a little bit more, and he feels like he's ready to leave. When he does, Yazker's going to be right by his side. In his downtime, he writes songs. And at one point, he's trying to write a song when Dara shows up. Yazker recognizes Dara, but it takes Dara reminding him what he did for him to really jog the memory. Something's been really eating at Dara this entire time. When he found his own people, he felt like he found a family. but he couldn't get over the fact that they agreed to fight for the White Flame. He couldn't do it, so he ran. Geralt then walks up and interrupts the conversation, and Dara then turns his attention to Geralt and says, I knew Siri. She was the first person I really felt safe with. If you see her again, tell her I forgive her, and that I'm truly sorry. Seeing her again is certainly the plan. Despite Melva telling him that he's not ready, the next day, Geralt and Yazker leave. Upon trying to get to Nilfgaard, they do reach a checkpoint. It's the Nilfgaardian army. Now, Geralt and Yazker, they're able to get through, but the soldiers in the army, they're dicks. And when Geralt sees them messing with an innocent family, he can't just let it lie. He goes back, and he shows that maybe he is back to 100%, because he kills all of them. Well, all but the final one. He gets a little help, because Melva didn't think he was ready, and Melva was following him to kind of be that extra set of eyes and a bit of protection. Geralt, Yazker, and Melva then head off to Nilfgaard to get Ciri back, while Yennefer is doing her best to make sure that when Geralt does reclaim her, she has a safe world to return to. Might be too late, though. That day is the day where they're having the ceremony to welcome Ciri back into Nilfgaard. The White Flame is there. Vilgefortz is by his side. But when Ciri walks through the castle and gets to Emir, it's not Ciri. It's Taryn. She still looks just like Ciri, and she has the entire kingdom of Nilfgaard fooled. So, where's Ciri? Well, her captors never turned her in. She's a prisoner. She's chained up in a bar with another kid who's a prisoner. They're able, though, to create a distraction with their captors by causing a little bit of infighting that distracts them enough so they're able to free themselves. The other prisoner also gets help from his buddies. They show up just in the nick of time. So you've got Ciri, this other prisoner, and his friends taking out all of the captors. And to everyone's surprise, Ciri is more than holding her own. But they leave Ciri's captor for her. They hand him a sword and they say, let's make this a fair fight. And Ciri plays cat and mouse with this guy. He's no match for her. But eventually, she does have to do what she was warned about, and that is plunge a sword right into a guy's chest and kill him. She had avoided this moment pretty much her entire life, and when it finally happens, it kind of shakes her a little bit. She's silent. The rest of the group, with everybody dead, they start rifling through pockets, grabbing whatever they can. And what seems to be the leader walks up to her and says, yeah, they say it feels bad taking a life, but it doesn't. Missile then asks Ciri, what's your name? And instead of giving her real name, Ciri says, you can call me Falca. And it certainly seems like Ciri is headed off with this group. And that is the end of Season 3 of The Witcher. Thank you so much for getting this part of the recap. I really appreciate it. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. Be nice in the comments section. If I messed a name up, you don't have to point it out. It's okay. You can just let it go. I do have merch. I have t-shirts and hats and stuff. Go buy something. I have a Patreon. Go subscribe. I'll see you back here for Season 4.